The wait to see what ideas Italy's Giuseppe Della Chiesa brings to the 2014 Mitsubishi Motors Badminton Horse Trials cross-country course is finally over. A course of 30 fences and 45 jumping efforts has been set in a clockwise direction around the badminton parkland. The course starts in the main arena over the ASX starter, and there's an early check as the tree trunk at 2 is slightly off their line of advance before the huge John Whittaker keeper's brush. Having checked their jumping, turning, scope and bravery, the introduction to the course ends. The little badminton double rails asks the riders to choose their line across undulating terrain based on how well their horse is likely to jump. The Savills escalator's A element will move horse and rider forward onto the downhill landing, increasing the difficulty of the two skinnies which follow, a trap for the on-ready, and there's no alternative if it goes wrong. Galloping up Worcester Avenue, the Team GBR Silver Birch is next up, and here the riders will be putting more thought into their route and striding than into jumping the relatively simple rails. The lake comes early this year with a test that starts over the Rolex triple bar before the straight route enters the lake via a sizable fence and drop before a right-handed curving line takes them over an upturned boat and out over a jetty. The long route is not only time-consuming but requires 2 extra jumping efforts. The KBIS garden table at 10 sits in a new corral in front of the house and provides a let-up after the first set of questions. Nearly a minute's galloping now takes competitors to the Shogunholic, where again the first element opens the horse out with a big wide fence before the rider needs to regain control for the second part. Here the ground also asks its own questions of horse and rider. Now into the intense area of the course, the next question the Outlander bank that retains its keyhole from last year, but there's now an offset skinny on 2 strides on landing to again test control and accuracy. The course breaks new ground to come to the gatehouse New Pond. There are big plans for this area with its views of the house in the future, but spectators won't be disappointed as riders jump in and then have to choose an open corner or a steeper slope to an upright that won't cost much on the clock, but doesn't leave them the best of lines to the next. And the next, the plug-in hybrid Vicarage V, has caused many sleepless nights in the lorry park, as the traditional rider-frightening upright rail at right angles over the vicarage ditch is now followed by a smaller replica on a very tight left-handed curving line. There is an alternative, but it's incredibly lengthy. The Mirage Pond gets a new and continental look with artificial mounds and reprofiled edges. The brush panels on their mound at A and B will jump on one stride, but horses won't see the water, so riders will have to keep on top of their game to power through it and over the angled C element on its own mound. The FEI Classic stick pile offers a moment's rest before one of the most talked about fences on this new track, the Swindon Designer Outlet Mound. A new and very steep mound with a maximum dimension tree trunk is the A element before a descent down an even steeper slope on a right-handed curving 4 strides to a big log, and finally a tight left-handed 3 strides out of the gully to a third skinnier lug. A long route takes some of the sting out of A to B, but leaves much the same question to be answered at C. The Wadworth barrels find a new home before competitors return to the Garden Corral to jump the World Horse Welfare Garden Gates. A pair of upright white gates will ask a big question of tiring horses, but you can expect the best to angle the 2 gates on 4 strides. Another quick dip of the toes in the famous lakes for the L200 and trailer, taking off from and landing in water. Competitors now have a long uphill gallop to regroup before the final challenges. The Irish sport horse stud book Huntsmans Close starts with another big fallen log under the trees before a right-handed curving line of 3 strides and 3 strides to 2 enormous corners. The next element is invisible from the preceding one, so the rider's job is to ensure the horse is ready for each challenge before they see it. The second corner is separately numbered, offering more choices, and there's an extensive long route for those seeking completion rather than top honours. A fair distance to gallop before another big and famous question, the Horse Quest Quarry. This is a well-considered question for this point on the course, testing the horse's reactions and fitness. They turn off their line over a Cotswold stone wall before a turn back jumping a choice of cottages. They then have to power up a slope and jump a second substantial Cotswold wall before they can turn for home. The countryside hedges, next up, should jump well. The fences will slow competitors down a little, but will ensure riders have their horses balanced. The Rolex presentation boxes offer a final challenge. An uphill profile to the terrain and two high and wide fences set on a strong angle. Finally, the gallop into the main arena to be greeted by cheers before they concentrate on jumping the Mitsubishi finish. This last will be a welcome sight for the 2014 competitors as they complete a course blending new ideas with the great traditions of the Mitsubishi Motors Badminton Horse Trials.